Back here again. Settled back into normalcy after the Thanksgiving holiday. Winter's upon us. And it seems like, what's that? Seasonal depression disorder. Seasonal affective disorder. It's called SAD. Why does the fucking acronym have to spell something associated? What kind of stupid shit is that? Seasonal affective disorder. Tell you what, I lived in Rochester, New York for a number of years ago. And because of the lake effect, because of the location in upstate New York, it's gray and dreary and cold and wet a substantial portion of the year. There's sunny days, but it's no Southern California. And Southern California, in the morning, you get the clouds and the gray that comes off the ocean. Dude, that stuff blows away. Maybe there's an hour rainstorm and it's sunny. And it's 70s, like Hawaii. Yeah, that's not upstate New York. That's not Rochester. Or Seattle, right? Proven high suicide rates. Proven effect on your emotional and your physical state, psychological state. I think they've done a lot of studies on that. Seasonal affective disorder, and I've heard some reports that it's like 6% of society, fuck they get these numbers, experience something of that effect. Where the change in seasons, the shortening days, the lengthening days, your hour, singularly in the world, cut over to daylight savings, spring forward, fall back, has some kind of effect. Much like, you jump on your airplane and you fly around the globe and you clearly have some kind of cycle disorder to your sleep, to your energy. Jet lag, right? And it's known, it does occur. And I would imagine, just like anything else in society, to some people it's severe, with depression and sensitivity to light and lethargy, probably a lot of weird stuff. I do not like the shortening days. Don't like them. I don't know. Look, man, and I don't want to be controversial. Daylight savings seems stupid. Maybe you get more light, maybe you don't get more light, maybe whatever. Maybe it's safer in the morning for the kids. Clearly, with the orbital path around the moon, around the sun, and our Earth year, and our little tilt, even though I am subtropic in South Florida, it still sucks at 6 o'clock, 5:30 that it's pitch black. And sitting here thinking, I think we roll up to December, to the autumnal equinox, whatever the hell the thing is, your calendar period for the shortest day of the year. Or your winter, right? Your conversion to winter. And that fucking day's like, poof, the sun comes up and it's down. And then you start getting a couple minutes or, minute and a half a day added back on. I don't like that. I don't know how I would do in the Antarctic with no daylight or with no evening, Either it was always light, somewhat lighter, or it was always dark. Eesh. I'm sure it would have some kind of effect, emotional, psychological, physical effect on me. I know it would. And that stinks. But we have to cope with it. So we do what we got to do. And we look forward to getting more time. 6, 7, 8, 8:30, 9, where it's still light out. and it's warm out and it's summer and you can go to the beach. Oh, come on. Those are the days. So grab them when you got them. And don't complain that it's too freaking humid, it's too hot. I got jury duty coming up in the beginning of December. And I don't know if I should shave or not shave. I don't think it'll have any effect, right? No shave November. Got a couple day left, whatever. Probably should shave. Wear your business casual to jury duty. I don't think it'll matter. I don't know how I've been picked now for the third time in 3 years in Florida for jury duty with Palm Beach County. I don't know, 600,000 or whatever it's got. It's a random pool. Not so random, or I'm just really lucky with the jury selection. So, we'll go and do that again. I think they can fine you $100 if you don't go. What? I think 40% of the people summoned for jury duty nationally don't show up. That's half, guys, gals. Probably don't even find you. I'll do my civic duty. I'm not going to request my $15 for the day. I think it's more of a hassle to fill this shit out, get some fucking check. I have to wait for the mailing, cash the check, put it in the bank for 15 crappy dollars for your first 3 days? $20 for your next 4 or whatever? I don't know. Though I think 85% of the cases that have a jury, they last a day, at least in Palm Beach and the West Palm Court Center. So, worst case, you'll be there a day. It'll be like some kind of blue collar, white collar crime. Hopefully not violent. Maybe violent. There's a lot of violent shit that goes around down here. And we'll see. I hope I don't get picked. Yeah, that's not really fair. Do your civic duty. But yeah, shave or no shave. So I gotta shave this shit off soon here. And in the past, I've always shaved in strange manners. Like I'd shave a piece or something like that. And, I'd keep a mustache and maybe the chops or do a Van Gogh or a goatee. Don't know. But look at this mess. Fucking mess. Gray, brown heap. It's just a mess. And I gotta live with it. So, it is what it is. Getting old. My father used to color his shit. He had a big Magnum PI mustache. Tom Selleck. He'd color it. Just for men. I guess I've thought about it. If you are going gray, if you're losing your hair dramatically, would you pursue some type of corrective action so that you're normal? You're not perceived. And I'm hairy, dude. Hairy everywhere, pain in the ass. Is what it is. Would you get hair plugs? Would you dye your hair? Every woman dyes their fucking hair. Women dye their hair because they want a different color hair. And iron it and weave shit in it, human hair in it, horse hair in it. Yeah, I want baby seal hair weaved into my hair. What? I don't know. So weird. I don't think I ever would dye this. I don't think I ever will dye this. I think I'll always have a lot of hair on my head. Even though, I thinned. I got the widow's peaks. And Tracy always tells me, you're losing your hair on top. She's such a douche. Why would you say? Maybe I am. I don't know. I can't see the top of my head. I've tried, but I can't see it there. So, one moment. So yeah, I gotta shave it off, and you know how it is. This took a while. This is a month, right? So when you shave it, whatever's gonna be left is gonna be healthy. And on one hand, it's not that hard to trim it down and to shape it. A little pain in the ass. Eh. There were times in my life when I wore different facial hair. And it was fun and somewhat enjoyable. And I've always had decent facial hair, even, from high school. But nowadays, I don't know. So what do you think? What should I do? I could have like the Metallica Hetfield. Just like down here. And then Tracy said, don't ever grow that fucking soul patch again. For a while, I just had the soul patch. Okay. Punta. ¿Qué pasó, amigo? Hey, hombre. Hey, the soul patch. I don't know. Or I could have a porn stash. Or maybe just keep growing the stash out to have a big giant fucking and then wax it up and spin it. No. And be some kind of bare knuckle boxer. Hey, put up your drugs. Me and Conor McGregor. Oh, come at me. Come at me with me handlebars. Oh, and wear a muscle shirt and part my hair in the middle like alfalfa with a little goose grease. Remember the goose grease? My father would tell us about goose grease. Listen, and I don't recall. Google it. I don't know. I don't want to look it up. I think it was a fabricated hair product because running water and plumbing weren't everywhere. And so you could easily control and manage your hair with this product, whether you were clean or unclean. I don't know. Maybe you were clean and you just wanted a cool hairstyle, right? But it could mat you down and your hair would look like alfalfa's off of the fucking Little Rascals. Slapped down, right? Like petroleum jelly or something. And then put a point up there. Whoop! But my dad would say, yeah, goose grease. I'm like, is there grease from the goose? Like you squeezed him a little and then got a little grease and then whipped it up there? Not going to do that. I think in your mustaches you use wax anyway, handlebar wax or something like that. Any products nowadays that have the super hold, the mega hold, I'm sure could do some style on this thing. And the scents they have for them now. I mean, Jeffrey and Trevor spent $20 on a little teeny canister. You're like, hey, what do you got? And they're like, oh, I got some hair gel. And it's like that big. How much is that? It's on sale. It's $19.95. Like, dude, holy cow. So, yeah, I don't know what I'm going to do. Maybe if you watch this, comment on how I should cut my hair, my facial hair. Or, you know what? I've done it before, dude, and I don't have the patience anymore, I'm finding. Or I'm just going to... And it's somewhat liberating, and it feels pretty good to buzz it off. Because this thing turns into a mop and a mess. Brillo-y, wiry, pain in the ass. The fuck? God, why did you make us have facial hair? Jesus. Baby Jesus. Oh, baby Jesus. Oh, baby, how about Tom Cruise? Ever Will Ferrell? Oh boy. Yeah. So I don't know what I'm gonna do. We'll have to see how this cuts off. It's time. It won't be before jury duty, I don't think. Or maybe I'll wear a giant fucking Metallica mustache to jury duty. I'll be like, what's up, yo? Metallica. Oh, what happened? I gotta serve on court. What did he do? Killer. Dude, and they'll be like, oh, dismissed. Maybe. Maybe not. Tracy said the other day, and she knows that she's down there every day, and it's some kind of Davies Cafe or some shit. Some turd opened up a little eatery in there because people spend half their fucking lives waiting for the court system. And there was some stinky ass dude with tattoos, greasy hair, looked like a thug. He was a juror. Palm Beach County has a lot of cases. And I recall the last time I was there, a year ago or whatever, the district head, the attorney general, whatever he is, the judge magistrate, the head of the West Palm court system came down. Big, giant, tall dude, black guy, well-spoken. And he expressed his thanks to everyone there. And there were 2 or 3 or 4 or 5, maybe 600 of us for that day. And he was very thankful. He said, I want to express to every one of you thanks for you showing up. and for participating in your civic duty, which, I mean, it sort of caught me off guard. I thought it was going to be some turd stand up there and blah, 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 blah. And he stated that they had 2, 3, 4, 500. He personally had 260, 280 cases on his personal docket that he had to manage. And that the system was horribly over inundated. Which it seems like all government agencies tout that now. Which maybe that's the case. And maybe it's a combination of inefficiencies and lack of process and procedure, lack of fundamental family structures, lack of whatever the things necessary so that something in the court system, the government system, the legislative branch, the judicial branch, whatever, the executive branch, any of it, Trumpenstein. I mean, they're asking for 10 days from now, the wall has to be approved. So he wants $100 million or $1 billion or whatever for this fucking wall, for a piece of it somewhere in Texas. Just sickening expenditures of money. Which is why I understand when whole swaths of people in this nation blow a gasket on the injustices, the inequalities. We have this giant machine that's spewing out purchases and money, and none of it seems to be relevant to the people. And we have this giant conglomerate of people that just seem to struggle with their voice, with their ability to articulate their voice, with living, with whatever they need, with whatever they're capable of. And it's not fucking easy, man. It's not none of this is easy. You can't shoot a tweet out and clarify. This shit is hard fucking work for decades to formulate solid, thoughtful, planned approaches that you then need to implement for real solution. Dude, it's crazy. And that's why I just don't think we're going to fix it. We don't seem to be on a trend for education, on a trend for enlightenment, on a trend where we have, expansiveness and growth. It seems like it's the other way as of the last few decades, 3 decades. And I don't know, maybe it's the metamorphosis from written text to digital text to, audio to visual. Maybe it's just an evolution, a change. There's millions of brilliant people all over the fucking place. And if you got 1 billion Indians and 1 billion Chinese, Zuckerberg, I've seen him, I think it was Facebook. How many geniuses do you have over there? Statistically. Because there's 1 billion of them. 3, 4, 5 times the number that any other country has. You're like, what? So fucking harvest those people. Use them. And not with CRISPR. So that you removed, I read more on this, they removed the HIV virus. That's what this dude in China did. And now he went to some conference in Hong Kong and started talking about it. And now he's doing a second case. And everybody's losing their mind. They're like, dude, nobody sanctioned you to do that. He did it outside of the school he was in. He did it secretively. Took these twin girls. They had the HIV virus in these embryo, these eggs, the 2 eggs that had been, inseminated. And he removed the HIV fucking gene. And there's question of whether it was ethical or moral or even, legally allowed. And then, was he successful? Was he unsuccessful? What are you doing? So the challenge is there, which is good. I thought the shit was just going to disappear. But it seems like the world's stepping up and going, hey, fucker, you do that shit, and I don't know, we're going to genetically alter you, you retard. Gotta be the first one to do it. I'm smart. That's always been the case in science. But how? A phonograph? Watson, come here. A telephone? A fucking, whatever. An A-bomb? That one started the trigger. A printing press? Right? A robot? I don't know. Some of these fucking things can eradicate us, have massive impact. An iPhone? That's just a phone. And the phone, it's just an extension of your iPod. So you like music? This thing has consumed society. So, I don't know. And the Pope made a statement on that. We better be careful. Maybe not the Pope, the Vatican, about the killer robots. No, dude, you need to be careful about your predatory priests. You need to fucking fix your junk first. Don't worry about killer robots. We don't need a papal global statement about your opinions about robotics from the church right now. Good to know. What the fuck are you doing with all the perversions within your organization? How are you helping the globe? Jeezy peasy. Come on, fella. Fucking Pope. So, I don't know about that. We've had a couple people lost recently. Stanley. He had, what was it called? Asphyxiative pneumonia. I think through his windpipe into his lungs, he inhaled some type of food or liquid particles, which gives you a form of pneumonia, and at his age, 95, it killed him. They rushed him to Cedars-Sinai, and he was quickly pronounced dead. Which, 95. But he looked healthy. He was always peppy and cognizant, for the most part, in his movies and any interviews I saw. There'd been some recent family news about potential neglect or predatory stuff with managers, his fortune, some of his direct family members, maybe some relatives. When you're 95 and you're a bazillionaire, which I think he was, he should have been. I mean, that guy created imagination. He took it and he made it real, put it on paper. As a child, at least for me, God damn, that was a massive portion of my childhood. Comics. I spent hundreds of hours reading those fucking things at a drugstore up the street from my house, run by a family, just a family-owned drugstore, of which the daughter was adopted, and my brother dated her. The Kings, awesome people. They always had a credit line. If you couldn't pay for it, you got your drugs anyway. It's fucking different times, man. And he did well. Mr. King was a pharmacist. He kicked ass. Had a beautiful house in Lewiston Heights. They did well. And they were generous, giving, loving, good people. And I'd sit in that fucking store for countless hours reading comics that I couldn't buy. I'd read them and put them back in. You know? They let me sit there for hours in the back aisle. And after a while, they never complained, man. Ah, fuck. And when I was old enough, I bought some. I had 1,000 comics in a box. Don't know whatever happened to them. The house burned down. I don't know. They were something. I took some of my sisters and my brothers, because they bought them on occasion. My sister Chris, my brother John, my brother Doug. We had original spots to the majority of those folks. Through the background and the hidden part of the industry, and then through the stardom and the public part of the industry. And there aren't many of them that are normal. And I don't know what normal is, but I know none of those fuckers. And it's usually the mofos that, for some reason or another, maybe because they were born into it, they understand the gravity, and they escape, or they hide. And they realize, all right, this is what I'm going to do for a bit, and I'm going to have a balance here, but I'm going to have a family. I'm going to retreat and retire to some remote place. I'm not going to be the person that feeds off of this machine and then that feeds the machine. There ain't many people like that. Most of them break. Whew! And a lot of them publicly. And then privately, and it's just fucking horrible. And all the offshoots from it, you have to get your face stretched. You have to look young and beautiful and vibrant. You can't ever be controversial. You have to be appealing. You have to be politically correct. All this shit that came out of that fucking fake reality. God! What else? Bill and Hillary, they're doing their tour. They just opened up in Scotiabank up there in Toronto. I think it sits 10 or 15,000. and they had empty seats on the floor and empty seats in the nosebleeds. So everybody in between. And clearly, their tickets on the floor were probably $100 or $500, something stupid, you know. And they, of course, poo-pooed Trump and talked shit about this and that. And I don't know, is that ethically right? You know, you're a past president, first lady, all the controversy around those two. Is she rolling up for a 2020 rerun? They said she had another coffin fit in there. Hillary. Yeah. Those two, by law, by amendment, should never be allowed to approach politics again. They shouldn't be able to lead anything. There's no lines with them. It's all blur. They are totally oriented for themselves. Whoa. They are the grossness of politics. So the Hollywood machine creates fucked up actors. That political machine makes those two. Oh, disgusting. Yeah, and I don't know, maybe that's a condition in the past. I wasn't around in the past. I can't personally provide any opinion on any past individuals. I think it's a condition of the relative modern politician because, in the past, most politicians had private jobs. They were Trump. And because of their success in whatever community, city, state, arena, profession, industry, somebody was like, that fucking guy knows what he's doing. He built the steel mills. He built the banks. Vote for that fuck for president. He should be in charge. And when that disappeared, dude, that's when the capitalist machine broke. Because a lifetime politician is a pile of shit. Never. There should be limits on limits for those fuckers. No. You don't understand. Then you don't really understand the machine. And fuck the machine. Break that fucking machine. It should never be that complex. Where people that can run a job as an adult in a profession can't correlate those skill sets, the knowledge, the expertise that they know into a realm where they assist in a political arena with decision making and the good of the people and law and the judicial, the legislative, the executive portions of our government. When you have to be an expert to do that, fuck that system. You're broke. Dumbasses. Boy, are we there. And Trump sort of took it back. Man. And changing it. Maybe some of these young people, looks like they're going to put Pelosi in. She's going to do it. So I don't know. I'm all for the young people. Young people with radical ideas making changes. I don't know. Maybe they'll be bad. I don't like socialism. Oh well. But yeah, Bill and Hillary making millions again. Oh, they're great speeches. Fuck them. Waste a cent to go see them. I think Bill's down here with his book tour. Fucking bum. With Patterson? Some kind of thriller on the president? So you know what? There. He's just like fucking Obama. Hollywood press playing in scumbags. You fucking scumbags. You have no interest to the people. You have your interest. God. What else is going on? So I think that's my political rant. There's a lot in politics. The caravan, the wall's got to get paid for and approved, or it's done. The Mueller thing, it's coming. And Trump had his own counsel getting all the inside info. That's been the newest release. So that's sort of weird. So that's why he's been tweeting out all this shit like he's on the inside. Oh, go figure, he was. And that's a smart president, right? That's a smart whatever. That's a smart person being investigated, but don't know how ethical that is. But just keeps going on here, abroad, everywhere. Brexit, all this shit. Musk said he's going to Mars. 75% sure. 3 out of 4. We launched 4 rockets. 3 of them Musk is going to be on. 1 of them he won't. So to me, that means that there will clearly be a return trip. Whatever the trip is, 2-3 years to get there and then 2-3 years to get back. Musk spends 6 months there. I don't know, man. I wouldn't put it beyond him that sometime when he's reached some type of plateau or achievement with Solar City, Tesla, Boring Company, SpaceX, with whatever, it's not that he needs money. It's not that he needs to be something more of a magnate or a mogul. So what are the measures that would put him in a position where he states, I've achieved what I want to achieve, now I want to go to Mars? That's sort of an exclamation point on history books for Elon Musk. Right, his Dragon spacecraft or whatever the fuck it's going to be that goes to Mars. He spends 2 years there. His fucking red Tesla floating around, maybe he grabs that out of its little orbit, universal orbit, drives it down to Mars. Fuck knows. Drives it around. And then he's back. So, Musk coming back. I think Musk will go to Mars. Which is good, because that means the leader of SpaceX and the leader of space exploration is driving that innovation. And that's the way it should be. And he seems like he's smart enough to do that, which is awesome. I'm sure those announcements will come out in tweets. Dude, I don't understand the use of social media. I do, but from a dude like that. And then stupid tweets about 420 for the stock price, which he then has to pay $20 million, and just silly shit. I don't know. From what I can garner, that's just the way his head works, and the illness in his brain is. It doesn't stop, and that's another method for output. You know, the whole issue with the guy in the mine, right? What did he call him? A molester? You know, a child molester, and that's why he took the children into the mine. Don't know. Another celebration, the Mars lander. NASA launched another device that just landed on the planet. And if you haven't looked at this thing, it's pretty freaking awesome. It's already taken a crappy photo covered in Mars dust of the horizon. It's going to drill 16 feet down into the core, the mantle, the crust, whatever the top of it is, not the core. It'll read seismic activity. See if there's minor Mars earthquakes. They landed it well. There's a big celebration. I don't know why NASA isn't getting a lot of play. Media, maybe. But that thing seemed to land fine. They sort of did the Elon Musk walkthrough of the event. I didn't see any of the web news or the web stream on it. Musk does a great job of that. But they reported the stages. There were big celebrations with Mission Control as each passed. Had a heat shield. Broke into the planet orbit. Deployed a high-speed parachute to slow it down. And then took the photograph, and all of them were met with great cheers and celebration from Mission Control, which seemed pretty cool. Awesome for NASA, awesome for Mars. They're talking about 2030, I think, for some kind of Mars exploration or trip. NASA. And maybe they're referencing Musk, who knows. The immediate responses were an old used up cup of coffee, Starbucks cup, that it had taken its first picture of. So clearly the Martians like Starbucks. Been here, Starbucks. And then someone asked quickly, hey, where's Matt Damon? Where's Matt Damon? Yeah. Still here on Mars, still alive. Day 4,411, 56. Gonna make it. Yeah. So that was pretty funny too. but something to celebrate. Sports World had golf, Tiger and Phil, pay-per-view, $6.95, $7. I don't know, for the $9 million purse that went extra holes because they were tied with a $200,000 a hole side bet from each of them. Everything about that is blah to me anymore. And I think younger, when I played more golf, I would have enjoyed it. Maybe I would have gotten excited for it. I love Lefty. He's a great guy. He's a philanthropist. Just like anybody else, he's been caught in some questionable dealings, right? And he quickly separated himself from those. You know, his manager, whomever was involved with that. He seems to be a good guy. He does the psoriatic arthritis ads. He's well-spoken. He's very gifted with a golf club. Tiger's had his own trials and tribulations for the last 10 years. We're all privy to that. Me especially down here. Yeah. He said he played too much golf this past year. And he felt it. He looked tired. He looked worn out. He's going to manage that for 2019. He lost the extra innings hole or whatever. Thus, you know, losing the $9 million purse to Phil. I'm sure. I don't know what the buys were. I don't know. I don't know anything about it. I would never have paid for that. I don't really care. But it seems like it went off well. And now they'll move on to something else. And I'm sure it was probably, toe in the water test. See what the response was from customers. Because I'm sure if millions of people pay to watch two superstars play head-to-head golf, that they will easily turn that into a sideshow. Your golfing, your National Pro Golfing Association, national golfing events, and all the things about it. Heck, they need more money. You know, Ricky Fowler and all those cats. They do well. Golf does well. And it's enjoyable, but I think it's oversaturated. You know, you got the U.S., Europe, whatever Cup, Ryder Cup. Same with tennis, though, the Davis Cup. And just like tennis, which I've followed all my life, and golf, which I've followed all my life, and I've played both relatively on and off my whole life, haven't in the past decade, nearly as much, maybe 20 years. I like the main events. I like Wimbledon. I like, the U.S. Open, the Masters, I like the big ones. Not so much the Australian or the French. Wimbledon, the U.S. Open. Pretty awesome. The thing with tennis, those are long, right? 2 weeks. All the way from, your, whatever, 120, 150 down to 64, down to whatever, 32, and then your quarters, semis, finals. Golf's a little quicker. A lot of young guys in it now. Tiger just, I hope the guy does whatever he wants and is successful with whatever he needs to be. But hell, I viewed his career as successful a long time ago. And he had the opportunity to make whatever he could anywhere else because of his money, because of his stature. But clearly golf seems to be at his core, which he cannot change. So, we wish him well. We'll see how that goes. And that's about it for today's discussion items, topics, updates. Put some comments. Let me know about the beard. Subscribe. Send the link to friends. And I'll talk at you.